Good afternoon, everybody. This week we're going to learn about topics, important topics within texts, movies, and images. So, a topic is any subject matter that is important in a text or a movie or an image. When I read Avengers comics or when I see an Avengers movie, some important topics that come to mind are heroism, sacrifice, leadership, determination. These are all important topics that I think of when I see those movies. We're going to do the same thing this week. We're going to watch a short film, and we're going to try to analyze some images and see if we can figure out some important topics from them. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. This is Mr. Hennefield. So this week we're going to be looking at topics. What is a topic? How can I identify one in a text or in a film or in an image? So a topic is any important subject matter in a discussion, image, film, or text, or anything in life that's worth thinking about. Topics are usually just one or a few words long. Here are some examples: love, addiction to technology, freedom, social media. And you notice that these are important topics. They make us think a little bit further. If we're to look at this GIF of this young woman who is perhaps making a makeup tutorial on YouTube, we can see some topics when we look at this GIF. Carelessness, because it looks like she tore off her eyebrow. Regret, vanity, preparation, beauty. These are all topics that come to mind because they're dealing with important subject matter. They make us think a little bit further. Now, there are some things that aren't topics. For instance, I wouldn't say waxing or eyebrows are topics. While those things we can see in this GIF, they don't really make us think further. When I see this GIF, I don't really think further about waxing or eyebrows, but I do think a little bit further about ideas like regret, carelessness, vanity, beauty. So a topic has to be important. So what makes a topic important or meaningful? Well, like I said, it should make you think further or deeper about what you're seeing or reading. You can find a topic by first just making observations about what you see or what you're reading. Think of general things the image or the text might be about. So remember, a good topic is important and it makes you think further. Let's look at this GIF, for example, of this horse playing. So I wouldn't say that a topic is a ball or a grassy field, even though those are things that I can see in this GIF. They're not great topics because this GIF doesn't really make me think about bouncy balls or a grassy field. But it does make me think a little bit about animals, about animal behavior, about how important it is to have fun, no matter what kind of creature you are. So some important topics I was thinking of are animals, animal behavior, playing and having fun. Those are all important topics because when I see this GIF, I think further about those topics. I chose playing as my topic because it's important for animals to play just like humans. I've seen it myself all the time. It makes me think about how much I love to play around, to horse around. So let's try it once more. So when I look at this GIF, I wouldn't say that the topic is fish or water, but I might say the topics are garbage in the ocean, our environment, human impact, nature, or animal adaptation, because I can see one of these small fish has actually made the paper styrofoam cup into a new home. So remember, a topic should be important. The reason we look at images is because they're just like texts. You can look at an image and you can figure out topics from it. So if you can do it from an image, you'll be able to do it when you're reading a book or a story. So let's look at some examples of images and try to figure out what important topics they could be about. So, from our text last week, in the ruins. So, some of you mentioned these topics in your responses. These are important topics from In the Ruins: survival, human behavior, hunger, and destruction, the apocalypse. Several of you said, well, perhaps a war happened. Maybe a virus broke out. Maybe the environment got destroyed and people no longer had a food supply like plants or animals. So these are important topics in the ruins. Now, think further about them. If you were to choose one of these topics, I'm going to ask you to explain why you think that topic is important. Let's say you go with hunger. So hunger is an important topic in the ruins because we see the effects of starvation on 3 people. The doctor, the narrator, and the little girl are all starving to death and have turned to cannibalism in order to satiate their hunger, in order to survive. So let's try it with some other images. So, when you look at this image, remember, first make some observations. What do you observe? So what I observe is a man. He looks like he's relaxed, and he has his feet in what appears to be a television, but it's almost like the television is a warm bath that he's soaking his feet in. So, some topics that come to mind when I think of this picture, when I look at it, are technology, our habits concerning technology, relaxation, human behavior, media. Again, these are just topics that I think of when I see this. You might come up with some better ones. But in general, this is what you want to do when you see an image or when you read a passage. Observe it. Read it closely. Think about what important topics come to mind. Let's try another one. Okay, what are some possible topics when you look at these images? So we've got some cameras, it looks, in the right-hand corner. And then we also see some GIFs of technology, surveillance technology that's tracking people's movements, people's faces. So these are some possible topics that I thought were important to these images. Privacy, surveillance, information collection, control, being watched constantly. And again, you can probably come up with these same ones and maybe even a few more. But these are all topics that are important when I look at these images, when I study them, when I think about what I know about the world. Another image. What comes to mind when you see this image? These are just 5 things that came to mind immediately. Sometimes I feel like I'm constantly checking my phone. I'm always on it, 6 hours, 8 hours. I feel like I sometimes am being led around by my device rather than the other way around. Here's a great shot from the Black Lives Matter protests. This one was from June, I believe. Thousands and thousands of people in the streets of New York City. New York City making us all proud, leading the world in terms of these very important protests concerning police brutality and justice. So when I saw this image, some topics that come to mind, well, I think about unity. I think about people coming together, protesting, civil disobedience, again, human behavior. These are individual people, but they all decided to come together for a very important cause. So what you're going to do today is view some images like this. After you watch this video, you're going to open up the form and you're going to see a collection of images. And I'm going to ask you some questions about them. I want you to study the images. And again, I want you to think, what are important topics when I study these images?